and 1 hour, 60 minutes of art every Tuesday and Thursday night. And thank you for joining me. I have a couple projects going on. I primed this canvas, just waiting for it to dry. And while we're waiting for paint to dry, 1 hour. Oh my goodness, 60 minutes. It looks like my voice recording is working. And I already have paint all over my hands, and we haven't even started. Fun times. Well, I'd like to say welcome to my 1 hour of art. And let's begin with, let's see, I like to draw things, so I think I'm just going to draw, and I'm going to use this awesome purple pen to make some flowers. And I'm just going to do this while we're waiting for people, for anybody to show up in the stream. And let's make another little flower over this way. I just love flowers. And these are little baby, like kid flowers. But any kind of flower is a good flower, especially if it's a happy flower. So I was trying out. This heart here is due to me trying to figure out if any of my markers still work in my paints. And so as a direct result of that, I have this awesome heart that I really liked that I filled in with a gold marker. So let's get a little bit more light on the subject here. We've got a nice shadow from something. I always see a shadow from somewhere. I'm not really sure where the shadow is coming from because I've got all my lights this way, but I still get a shadow coming in this way. Hey, Frank, 5747. Hello, hello, hello. How are you tonight? You know, I don't have a green marker. I have a green, oops, I'll show you. I'm what I'm dealing with here. If I can get my pen to stay or my camera to stay in shape. I've got all these. I got to see if they work or not. And so I'm just kind of trying them out right now. Mald Maldini MC. Hello, hello. And I'm just gonna quickly go over my purple with this green. And see how the color looks. And it looks pretty good, and this marker is working. I've had to go through and throw away quite a few of my markers because I wasn't sure if they worked or not. But luckily, they are working fabulously. Let's see if this dark green one is working. And this has two sides, a fat side and a skinny side. So we can do an outline with that. And this one is kind of drawing up a little bit. And let's do some grass. And this one is definitely dry, so I'm going to have to throw this one out. All right, now I pre-primed this canvas right here in blue. I covered up an old painting I wasn't real fond of, and I'm just, you can see it's still wet. I'm waiting for that, waiting for paint to dry, one of my favorite things in life. And while I'm waiting for paint to dry, I'm going to see if these other markers are working. So does anyone have a favorite thing that they like to see drawn? Like I like dragons a lot. In fact, I could draw a dragon, but that takes me hours because I like to spend a lot of time on dragons. Get this a little lower here. And but I think I might just do a dragon eye And once I start a dragon eye, that works. Let's just use a regular pen for that. I love dragons. Anyone else like dragons? And I have a number 10 Pilot pen, which I love using, and some really awesome other pens that I don't know where they put them right now. So let's see. Let's do a dragon eye. And dragons, they have a nice. I'm going to probably regret doing this with the flower and the heart, but that's okay because what's going to happen is I will make a really awesome drawing and then wish I would have done it just by itself without the flower in the way. But here is the beginning of our dragon eye. And you have to start somewhere. You know, great art, even bad art, doesn't just appear magically. You really have to um, start with a line and an idea of some sort. My ideas usually start with a line because I'm like, what do I draw? What do I paint? I don't know. And dragons have scales and a lot of little bumps and bulges and things around their entire body. So they have like a suit, literally a suit of armor. And I'm just fascinated with magical things, and um, that type of thing, like magical. I don't know, wizards and like I read the Harry Potter books up to like the fourth book, and then I watched all the movies, which is kind of probably silly for an older person, but I don't feel old, and I think like magic keeps you young. Now, Dragon Eyes, this one's going to have some green in it. Let's see if I can get that a little bit closer. And I'm sorry I'm bumping the camera. That's kind of a little bit darker than I thought it would be. So I'm going to use yellow. Because my black is still wet, so it's coming off. I think I'll probably use my awesome, what do you call it? These are acrylic marking pens, and they're by Sharpie, and they're actual acrylic markers, and they work fantastic. So we might do some of that after we're done with our drawing here. So in the meantime, let's get on with our dragon eye. And he's got to have a face somewhere in here. So let's go ahead, and his eye is coming down this way to his nose, which is now off grid. And he's got a nice jaw coming around. And horns of flowers growing on his head. Since we started with flowers, like I said, I just kind of wing it a lot of times. But from that, I can get some really great paintings and ideas. And here's something I like to do. So what else? It's called shading with the ink. So I'm going to take a little bit of water, and we'll put that on a paper towel because we want to be able to soak up any of the extra water we use, or on the brush, I mean. All right, move this down here a little bit. Give us a little bit of water. This is my spray bottle I use for keeping my acrylic paints wet, and you can tell because I have acrylic paint all over. And now we're going to use our watercolor brush for shading his little ear right in here. And we're just using the ink that we already have on the paper. So if you've never been on my stream before, sometimes I will appear. Well, I'll do a live stream with actually where you can actually see me. And sometimes um, I'll be making an awesome painting. Tonight, I just felt like sitting and sketching and creating some ideas. So I'm bringing this ink down to shade in his horn and his ear. And I'll do a little bit around his eye as well. You can just watch, I'm going to get that a little closer, and you can just watch that ink just go right on down. It's like the coolest shading with watercolor, but only it's ink. And right off the bat, it gives your drawing a really cool look. Now I'm going to just a little bit of water on the tip for his pupil and the inside of his eye. You want to control the amount of water on your brush. That way you can control your shading much better. And that is how you do that. Now let's continue some drawing here. And I like to use the number 10 Pilot pen because it has a lot of flow, a lot of good ink in it. Now this dragon has a mouth, but because I already started drawing, let's give him a couple more horns back here. And give him a little bit of texture on his horns as well. This is going to be our flower dragon. And we want it to have a little bit of texture. Then grab a little bit more water from our little water dish and shade that in as well. Look at that. It's so fast and so easy. I'm just going to bring his little horns, give them some texture as well. I don't have a lot of water on this brush right now. Just have a little bit. Need a little bit more because I want more shading down here. The sun is coming from up above, or the light. But how fun is that? It's been like a couple minutes and we've already got this awesome dragon eye. And I just want to say thank you. And if you haven't liked the stream and you're still watching, thank you very much for that. And for those of you still watching my stream or just joining in, let me know if you like dragons. And thank you for watching. All right, so we need to have a couple more horns over here. Now he's got to have another side of his head. So on this side, he's going to have another horn coming up behind as well. And let's darken up our flower a little. I used purple because I wanted to see if my purple pen worked, and it does. Mm, it's got a little happy face. Oh, it's a little mad face now. It was a happy face. But his face is going to be gone anyway in a minute. Because we're going to shade that up with a little bit of ink. And this horn is on the back side, so it's going to be a little darker. And what else can we do here? Yes, his head comes back and around, and he's got to have some scales. I really, let's bring this up so you can see what I'm doing. I kind of now wish, and I knew I would, that I had started this just on its own, but I always can change it if I want to just being its own thing. You know, another piece of paper. That's the great thing about art is you can get a really great idea and then you just kind of go with it. One of my favorite parts about dragons are their necks and the way, let me move this all up here, the way like they have this like ribbed underbelly. And then out here, amongst the horns and things, I'm going to bring a little bit of his ear out here and another horn, kind of like a rogue horn that we don't see on this side. Get more of a point. And this is his ear, his or her. So we have like a half of a dragon, but this part of the dragon is going to be freaking awesome. All right, let's add some more of his texture to him. He needs like more texture around his eyes. And so we're adding some like square type of dragon scales around his eyes. And then we're going to go into the round ones, like toward his back. I really enjoy like repetitive patterns. They kind of help to calm me down because I have to focus to make sure they are similar to each other. And with all the stuff that goes on in life, sometimes we just need to relax and focus on the job at hand. Oh, thank you for the hearts. Call of Duty. Hello, hello. You're at your dad's. Hi. Well, that's nice. How's he doing? Hmm. Huh. I'm really thirsty. It's been so hot here. I guzzled that water in Florida. Today it was it feels like temperature of 103. It was so ridiculous. So, excuse me. And it was 103 degrees. Feels like temperature. Okay, so this guy has another eye on this side. It's kind of off in the distance. And then his nose kind of comes up over here. But let's give him some more face shape. And let's see, kind of a mouth. And I'm going to bring this and make it more scales. So we want our dragon to have a really awesome look. So how has your day been, Call of Duty? Mine was just hot. Um, we had a little bit of rain. And while it was raining, I asked Google if it was going to rain, and it said no. It's so funny, like these apps, they're so inaccurate sometimes. All right. Now I want his neck to have a little bit more texture. So what I'm going to do is bring it out like this and give him like a little bit of a shelf. Even though I've run out of paper because I thought of doing this dragon at the last minute. Um, Sometimes it's hard to think of like, oh, what am I going to stream tonight? What am I going to paint or draw? And I love doing everything, so it's really hard for me to pick something. And shading that up just using the ink and underneath his neck. Because we want to add a little bit of texture. I think I've run out of ink there. We can add more later. Okay, let that dry for a second. I'm using paper that's actually not even made for wet media. It is meant for dry media, but I always wind up using wet media. And don't know where my sketchbook is that's for. I may have used it all up already and forgot, but it's for wet and dry media. Now I'm just going to put in a little bit of ink there so I can use my water to shade that in. And I'm just using the tip of my brush just to get in that little area. And then I'm going to bring this up here. Some of this ink. I'm just going to manipulate the ink around like that. So I want it to have a lot of shading. And we'll bring it down here. It's just so fun to shade this way. It's so quick and easy. It's my favorite thing to do, which is one of the reasons why I really like watercolor as well. Let's make that darker. Because you can, and like watercolor pencils, you can use to just really, actually, let's use one. Oh, that's where my micro pens went. I have a travel kit here. And so I've got micro pens, watercolor pencils, things like that. So when I go to the beach or the park or wherever, I always have uh, my little kit with me and my little watercolor kit. So I can do art wherever I go. And it's just kind of a cool thing to do to have around. Because I'm one of those people that no matter where I am, I've got to sketch something or draw something or do some kind of art. We're going to draw over this watercolor. Now, I'm going to use a different brush for this because I want this to really spread around. That's where his highlights are going to be. Being careful not to touch the ink on the sides because if I do that, it's going to run into the black. So I'm using there's a flat side and a thin side. I'm using the thin side to go around the center here. Very, very carefully. Very nice. Okay. And it's a really quiet night, it looks like. So I think we'll just do our little dragon head and call it a night. But that is our watercolor pencils. They're quick and easy. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about watercolor and ink is you can do things very quickly. We're making a few more scales around underneath his eyes. Oh God, hello. Hi, honey. How are you? Thank you for coming in tonight. I know how busy you are. Is school out yet or are you still in school? And Bogart is like one of my favorite people. She's the one that made sure that I can continue streaming. So, Bogart, to you, I just want to say you're awesome and here's your heart for the night. I should make a boat just for you and have a little boat floaty. That'd be cool. And you can see I'm using watercolor and I'm using ink. And I wasn't sure what to draw or paint or what kind of art to do. So that's why it's 1 hour of art because it can be anything at all. And we started with a heart and I filled that in because I wanted to see if my markers were working and then flowers because I always draw flowers. And then I decided on a dragon because I love dragons and eyes. So we started with the dragon eye. And these are his scales. But how pretty. He's a really cool dragon, actually. You're doing good. You got 3 exams coming up. Oh my goodness, exams. Ugh. You'll be great at it though. You're so smart. And your school doesn't end until the 25th. Oh, that's a long ways away. It probably feels like it anyway. But then you'll be out for the summer, so that's nice. Do you have plans for the summer? Do you get to go anywhere? I'm really liking this dragon. It's very Zen-tangle-y. And I'm just going to fill in these little tiny spots with the tip of my brush. just using the ink that's already on the paper. And let's give him some shadow down here, just a little bit. And it's surprising, like for me, once I know what I'm going to draw, like how quickly I can do it. And we're going to shade each scale. We'll have a little bit of shade or shadow, whatever you call it, from the other scale, right just above it. A little more water. And we'll carry that on over here. If that is, the ink is still wet, we can still do that. And it is. I think I have enough water on this right now. I'll just let that dry. All right, now he needs something above his eye. And Boat God, you get to go to the Buffalo Zoo during the summer. Oh, that sounds fun. I've never been there. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So your mom was born up there. That's awesome. All right. So I'm going to have to turn this because I can't really see above my hand. But I'm going to make some scales here. And I want it to have lots of texture. We're going to bring this here, give it a little more shading. And let's bring this on down. His nose. We will get a dragon out of this yet. So what's your favorite thing at the Buffalo Zoo? Do you have a favorite thing to do there, Boat God? Check that out. Right over the yellow. That was fun. And I'm going to shade all this in underneath his horn. And now we're just going to kind of outline his scales, just like this. And let the ink flow into like texture. Teeny bit more water on the tip of the brush. And get that ear darker. And we'll also shade each individual scale. But we have that yellow underlay, so that gives us, it gives our dragon his brightness, his her, or they, them, whichever. I'm not sure what kind of dragon this is. I think they can change actually. And they have to reproduce somehow. All right. I like this dragon. Let's make his ear a little more like an ear. Give him some, what do you call it? 3D effect, I guess. I'm using way too much water right now. So I'm gonna soak that, let it soak back into the brush and then blot it on the paper towel. It's very nice. Now, let's go ahead and do some under neck work. Our dragon wants to have some scales on his neck. And like I said before, this is very therapeutic for me to do patterns. It makes me focus because I want to try to make them as close to, what do you call it? As close to, you know, what do you call it? Where they're all the same. I can't think of the word. Even as can be. Oh, Mr. Sneezem the oh, hold on, let me do that again. Mr. Sneezem's the garden gnome. Hi, Mr. Sneezem's the garden gnome. That is cool. I like that. That's fun. How'd you come up with that name? That sounds like a fun name. That was fun trying to say it, actually. I really have fun like trying to pronounce names, and I'm usually correct. I can't say I'm always correct, but I'm usually correct when I pronounce people's names, and most of the time they're surprised that I've got it right. Also, I was watching Ink Master before I started drawing tonight. Has anyone ever seen that? Like Ink Master? It's a show about tattoos, and they have to fix somebody's tattoo and show they're the best tattoo artist. In fact, I get a lot of my drawing ideas from tattoos, believe it or not. Um, I think tattoo artists are probably some of the greatest artists on the planet because they have to do a good job because it's on your skin. It's not going to be something that you can erase. It's there like permanently. And I would I would be afraid to do that personally. I don't think I would. People have asked me if I would do tattoos, and I was like, I don't think so. I used to be a hairdresser. I used to do hair, and even if hair grows back, it's still, it's still something that you're risking. People have to wear that. Luckily, I did a good job. I was a great hairdresser for many, many years, and I gave that up though, um, when I moved to Florida. I love Florida. It is hot as hell, literally. I think that's where hell got its heat from. It's like, ooh, let's make it like Florida or something more tropical because further south you go in Florida, the more you can add like 5 degrees to every like 10 to 20 miles south you go. It's crazy. All right, let's add a little bit of texture here. Now I'm just going to add like a few individual scales because I want some of these scales to just kind of pop out on their own. So I'll make some darker and some lighter, and I'll leave some like white or whatever that lighter color is because I want to have like a variety in his scales. And these are going to be shaded down here. But I like watching the tattoo artists. I think that they are freaking talented. And I would never be that brave to put something permanent on somebody's body. That is so crazy to me. But I have seen some amazing tattoos, some really beautiful ones. Mr. Sneezums, hello. How am I? I am good. I am doing good. Now that you're here helping, watching and talking to me on my stream, I'm even better. So thank you for joining. Thank you very much. Let's see, let me move this over here so you can see this better. Is that a little bit better? Hopefully. Yeah. So we have like various areas of where we have put some shading just from the ink on our dragon scales. And that makes them look a little bit more realistic, I think. Almost like sparkly. And I like sparkly. When I drag my pen this way, I get better scales. When I'm going this way, I get kind of flat bottoms. So because I'm doing a video, I'm not dragging, so I'm not getting the round bottom I want, but I'm trying to right now. So maybe if I turn this a little bit, it might help. It does actually. And I told this to, who's the first person that was on here tonight? It was like Frank 5747. I don't know if, and Maldini MC as well. And when I was talking to them, I was saying how I thought that if I started doing a dragon, I knew I would regret not doing it on its own piece of paper. See, this I was doing it this way, and so it's got a flat bottom. Now, if I pull it, I have more of a round bottom on the scale. So as far as scales go, depending on how you hold your hand, you're going to get better or worse scales. But they are fun for me. I just enjoy scales. All right, let's throw in a few more darks and lights. Get that popping. Recently, and I don't know, he'll probably be too tired because my son, Mr. Jang, if you guys know who he is, and I know you do, Vote God, he did a 24-hour stream the other day. I don't know, 2 days ago, yesterday or whatever, he finished it. And crazy. I don't know how he survives that. I would be an irritated, cranky, crying mess. But I'm very proud of him because he actually has over 3,000 followers now, and he's an Apex Legends legend. So I'm very proud of my son, and I just wanted to say that tonight. So, Tony, you're awesome, and thank you for being my awesome son and having an awesome fiance who supports you in everything you do. Check that out. Our dragon is looking fierce. Love it. Oh God, you saw that? You didn't get a chance to see the whole thing? Oh yeah, like I'm not gonna watch 24 hours of Apex Legends or 24 hours of anything. I mean, although I have watched like a whole series nonstop in a day because I get addicted, but shooting things I'm not as excited about. And I was gonna paint tonight as well. I was priming this canvas for painting, but it didn't dry. It's dry now. I can still paint it, but I think I'll save it for another night since I'm drawing this dragon tonight. Oh, okay. And we'll give him another row in his cheek here. And then I think I'm going to add more scales in the back and some more horns. But that's cool, oh God, that you, oops, I forgot to draw his scales. But that's nice that you noticed he was doing that. My attention span, even for myself, like I'm excited when people can watch my live streams, especially for the entire hour, because I get so bored so easy and so quickly, and my attention span is so short. Um, Although there are times when I can spend hours, depending on what it is, just watching one thing, and I'll surprise even myself. So anyone who watches my stream, especially the whole entire video, congratulations to you and thank you. And you have an amazing attention span. Either that or I'm a lot more interesting than I thought, which I don't think I am that interesting. All right, let's do the shading down underneath each scale. I love this dragon. He is so pretty. Phoenix Fox, hello. Oh, you think he's pretty too. Thank you. I really am liking this dragon. In fact, I might use another couple watercolors down here before I finish these scales, just because I like the way the yellow watercolor turned out so much. And let's give him some true dragon scales. Up and down, up and down, and up and down. It's a little bit messy because when I started out with this drawing, I did not even know what I was going to draw. And it just developed into this. And that's how a lot of my paintings and drawings are. They'll just develop into something. I'm just taking that ink and shading it up. So Phoenix Fox, where are you from? That's another fun name. I just use my own name, which is kind of boring, but because I'm an artist, you got to have your name. If you don't, people don't know your name, you can't sell your art. Which, by the way, I still have my octopus painting, and that needs to be sold. I will post that online. Need a little bit more down here. I'm adding a little more ink. I swear I can hear something buzzing. It's driving me nuts. I wanted to add a little more ink and darken this up down here under his neck. And then add a little bit more shading down here in the curves. Really, really helps. I used to be afraid to do a lot of shading or using too much dark because I thought that um, I don't know, everything needed to be light for some reason. Okay, let's pick out a watercolor from my little, this is my travel. I don't know what this used to be. Franklin, oh, tennis balls. This was a tennis ball holder, and I use it for watercolor pencils and my micro pens and um, things like that. It really works very well. Let's see, I wanted like an orangey color. Let's see, just a nice orangey color, and then let's do a dark red color on the bottom. I think this is red here. Deep red, yep. And then we'll have that blend right into that yellow. My rainbow dragon. We could even add some color on his scales too, if we wanted to do that. Some darker red where his mouth is. And then we'll go over that with ink with the scales. Now this, because it's on the bottom, I'm going to add a little blue to the underside of his mouth. Nice and orangey. Lots of pencil in there. And then the blue will color over that red with a nice dark blue color. From my to-go travel bucket thingy. This looks like a dark blue right there. All right. Then we won't need to, well, we'll be using ink anyway to shade, but it's nice to have a variety of colors, I think. And his mouth, there we go. This is so fun. And I'm going to use my fat brush for the shading, or for the color, I mean. So here we go. I love watercolor pencil. Look how fast that just colors. It's so cool. And oops, I forgot. Don't go over the ink because that will spread your ink around. So be careful not to go over your ink like I just did because I forgot. Which is how I learned about using ink to shade in the first place was I was doing watercolors. Steve, hi! You. Hello, Steve. Welcome to my stream. All right. I know I'm a little weird, but that was the dragon talking. Oh, it's so nice to have you here. My deep red looks like a pink, like a deep pink. But look at that. This is fun. Get all that color off because I want to bring this orange up if I can. I don't know if I can or not. Already done its thing. Oh, there it goes a little bit. It's kind of like a unicorn dragon, like a unicorn mouth. It's a cross between a dragon and a unicorn. Well, how has your day been, Steve? Did you have a good day today? Or hopefully, I mean, it's Florida. Hmm. Let's get some more scales on this little baby. We're almost done here. Now that's nice and wet, so it's still pretty dry up here. So let's finish up his nose area. And this is where his other nostril his. He actually needs a nose. Let's give him a nose and a nostril right in there. He's got to have something to smell with. And we'll give him some scales on his nose going on up to his eye area. Whoop. My phone, as usual, is running out of power. And because I'm using paper that is not made for water, this is very flimsy paper, but I always wind up using um, multimedia on it anyway. All right, let's get these big old scales up here. This is a very interesting dragon, I would say. I'm going to let that dry for just a second. And I want to shade that in right now. All right. Let's bring this a little closer. And you can see his nose. And bring that up there as well. I definitely need to use watercolor paper, I think, from now on when I do these. I just always wind up using water on everything for paint or some kind of wet media. Just put these little gaps. And I want it to be nice and dark under his eyes. And over his eyes. Okay. Now, as I said earlier in my stream, I wanted him to have like bright yellow or green eyes or something. I'm going to use my acrylic Sharpie marker. And let's see if I can get him some green eyes in here. Just using the tip of it. Let's see, can you see that? Nice and close in there. This is really, these markers are amazing. I gave him a nice green eye. And I think I'll use some orange just underneath. I don't know why, but I just feel like using orange. No particular reason, just I, d- I don't want these to be white, but I also don't want them too dark. So that's why I'm going to use just orange. Kind of like a medium color, I guess. All right. There we go. We're getting somewhere here. We got all kinds of things going on. Let's do a couple more scales on our happy dragon. And that's his lips down here. So we want him to have some nice dark lips. And I ran out of paper, so he doesn't have a mouth, the whole mouth and tongue, and fire and flames shooting out like I usually draw. It's right up in here. And whoops, I wanted to have a little bit of a lot of shading down underneath of his mouth. And dragons usually will have a beard of some sort. So I'm going to give our dragon a beard. He's a grand old dragon. And I'm putting water where I want it to go in advance, and so I don't have too much water going on. Yeah, feed that all in. I really like dragons a lot, and this one is turning out a lot better than I thought it would actually. So I'm really happy about that. Okay, very nice. Now up here it's probably dry enough to do the rest of his scales. Oh, my paper is getting pretty wet. I'm gonna give it a little fold. And let's finish up his scales. Vicky, hi Vicky. A blue-eyed dragon. Well, yeah, it's kind of blue, green, I guess teal. I don't know what color that is, but yeah, he's pretty. How are you doing tonight? It's so nice to see you on here. I didn't think you'd remember. I was going to remind you and invite you and everything, and yeah, yeah, it just didn't happen. So I'm glad you showed up. Steve and Vicky. Oh, I'm so excited. And Bocat's here. And then I've got some new people. I've got Phoenix Fox. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for showing up and saying hello and contributing. And Mr. Sneedsums, the garden gnome, even stopped in. And who is Mr. Sneezums? I don't really know, but he stopped in, and that's what counts. All right, so this dragon has to have scales around his lips and mouth, because that's just how dragons are. So we'll give him some nice scales here. Little square scales, kind of rounded squares, and they go up and around his nose. And I did run out of paper because I didn't know what I was going to draw tonight. But the nice thing is we have all these awesome electronics and things now that we can, I can take a picture of this and then I can put it on my Procreate, or I can print it up on my printer, and I can make like the whole dragon. And then if I wanted to, I could even make a whole painting out of it, which would be awesome because I keep saying I'm going to paint a dragon and I haven't done it yet. And I really want to because I love dragons. So why haven't I done it? Riddle me that. I'm always painting mermaids, mermaid this, mermaid that. I think it's time for a, well, I did do a water dragon with a mermaid. So I think it's time for just a dragon. But what context should it be? Like, should it be like a mean dragon or a friendly dragon? You know, around his mouth, we want to have a little more detail here. Let's do that. Let's give him a little more mouth detail. Good. I get so carried away sometimes when I do these things. Oh God. All right. And Vicky, I'm so glad you figured out my live streams. Did it rain at your house at all today? It rained at my house a little bit. I went outside. I was going to do something outside. I'm like, I'm going to finally go outside and do something. And it started sprinkling. I have an uncanny knack for that. All right, let's shade that in. I love this ink shading. So fast and so easy to do. And I'm filling these little tiny divots in his scales. I think this dragon ate a unicorn. That's what I think happened. That's why his face is so colorful. The rest of him is black and white. He ate a unicorn and he's super happy because it tasted like a rainbow. I mean, dragons don't have a preference if they eat a unicorn, right? They're like, ooh, food is food. That's what gives them their long lives. Dragons live for hundreds of years because they eat unicorns. And that's why unicorns aren't around anymore. But dragons are in Europe. I saw it on a show, a TV show, so it must be real. Right. Give every scale a little bit of shading. Go. That is our dragon tonight. And we have completed our dragon for this evening. And as I said, I should give him, no, I'm not going to do it. I think this is going to be good. I'm going to call it a night. I want to say thank you for joining me tonight. If you did, if you're still here and you've been here the whole time, thank you very much. I just think it's awesome of you. Oh, I forgot I was going to do another horn back here. A couple horns. and a rogue horn. Yeah, he needs a couple more horns amongst those flowers that are random. Yeah, beautiful dragon. Yay. Thank you, Boat God. You are amazing. I tell you what, everyone say thank you to Boat God because if it wasn't for her, I would not be streaming. Right, Boat God? She is my muse that keeps me motivated and convinces me not to give up when I'm ready to give up because I feel like, why am I even streaming? Because no one's watching. And Boat God steps in and encourages me to keep on going. So everyone, if you can say a shout out to Boat God, give her a little clap or a heart. Thank you, Boat God. Thumbs up too. You're an amazing, inspirational person and a hard, studious student. And that is our 1 hour of art tonight. So how fun. That was fun. I actually enjoyed doing this dragon. Um, I'm going to hold it a little closer. You can see the details a little better. Not that I want you to see my mistakes, but it's kind of cool. You know, you can see where the water, um, the shading is, where the colors kind of blend in together, and that kind of thing. And this is what leads to the ideas for paintings and all of that. And amazing artwork is you got to start somewhere. All right, guys, you have a great night, and we'll see you next time on Rachel Hogan's Art. Thank you so much for joining. And what is today? Tuesday. We will see you on Thursday night, either here or I may be at the beach again looking for sea turtles. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the hearts. And if you haven't liked my stream, please shoot me a thumbs up. Good night, Steve. And good night, Boat God. You're awesome. And we'll see you next time.